Team Jackson, what's happening? So I saw this quote floating around, and actually I spoken on it the first time that I saw it a while back about why I thought it was both true and false. But I spoke more on the, why I thought it was false back then. So now let me speak on why I think it's also true. It says, most men don't marry the woman that they loved the most. They marry the woman that is around when they're ready to marry. And I said, it's somewhat true. Why? The woman a man loved the most is usually the woman he least deserved. So he either changed too late or got a woman who will tolerate him. Now, we all know the story of the guy that will, leave a woman whose standards are too high and she's requiring things of him he just refuses to meet. So he goes and gets a woman that'll tolerate him and all his bullshit. So let's talk about the guy who changes too late. First, we got to understand that just because a man loves a woman more or whoever he loves most doesn't mean he's loving that woman best. Like, for instance, if a guy works out 5 times a day, like he's exercising so much more than I ever will, but he doesn't understand correct form, he doesn't understand correct water intake, he's not getting proper rest, all of those things, he's not going to get the same results that I have. He's not going to be in as good a shape, even though he's exercising more in terms of quantity and intensity. Or if somebody works 5 times as hard as you do, they working 20 hours a day, only sleeping 4 hours a day, that don't mean that they're going to make more money than you, especially if you understand how to work smart. Like, even though you may be working less hours than them. So the same thing goes for love, but especially in our younger years, we tend to come across somebody that we're going to love way more than we'll love anybody else in terms of how much focus we put on that love, where it's at on our priority list, and damn near our obsession with loving that person. And this goes for both men and women. Like, I know a lot of women in relationships today, healthy relationships today, that at 15 or 16 years old, they came across a young boy like that, and they would have given anything for him. They would have turned on their family for him. They would have threw away their future for them. They took, more abuse verbally, physically. They would have given their lives for that boy, all as a byproduct of the love that they had for him. But now they're able to be in healthy relationships because they understand that out of all of that love that they gave that boy or any kind of guy, they got to give some to themselves. And now the guy that they're with, even though they're loving him less in terms of quantity, that guy is getting a much better version of them. So for guys, for us fellas, like, for you to love your woman correctly, that doesn't require, as a matter of fact, it requires you to not give 100% of your effort and your energy toward the love that you give her. You got to give some love to yourself in the form of working on your insecurities, checking your pride, checking your ego, becoming more compassionate, growing, learning so you could teach her something, being a better follower of God or whoever it is that you believe in, being more physically disciplined so you can be loyal. All of that. And if that's what you're giving her, then the amount of love in terms of quantity, that's not even going to be a question, because the quality of love she's receiving from you is going to be on a million, because it's coming from a much better version of you, a healthier version of you, a more mature version of you. Now, typically, it takes us some time to understand that love alone is not enough for any real commitment to last. But the version of us that does understand that, we also understand the importance of all those other things accompanying that love so that it can be shown consistently and correctly for the rest of our lives. So even though it doesn't happen 100% of the time, as we all know, the married woman, the woman that we choose to marry, she stands the best opportunity of getting that version of a man, which I think is the better deal. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're interested in this type of dialogue, then I talk about it way more extensively in my book, Don't Forget Your Crown. I'll put the link down in the comments for those of y'all who like to read. Holla at y'all.